This afternoon's story is from Tatterhood and Other Tales, and it is called Clever Manka. There once was a rich farmer who was as grasping and mean as he was rich. He was always driving a hard bargain, and always getting the better of his poor neighbors. One of these neighbors was a humble shepherd to whom the farmer owed payment of a calf. When the time of the payment came, the farmer refused to give the shepherd the calf, forcing the shepherd to bring the matter to the burgomaster, the mayor of the village. The burgomaster was a young man who was not very experienced. He listened to both sides, and when he had thought a bit, he said, "Instead of making a decision in this case, I will put a riddle to you both, and the man who makes the best answer shall have the calf. Are you agreed?" The farmer and the shepherd accepted this proposal, and the burgomaster said, "Well then, here is my riddle. What is the sweetest thing in the world? What is the swiftest thing? What is the richest? Think out your answers and bring them to me at the same time tomorrow." The farmer went home in a temper. "What kind of a burgomaster is this young fellow?" he growled. "If he had let me keep the calf, I'd have given him a bushel of pears. Now I may lose the calf, for I can't think of an answer to his foolish riddle." "What is the riddle?" asked his wife. "Perhaps I can help you." The farmer told her the riddle, and his wife said that, of course, she knew the answers. "Our gray mare must be the swiftest thing in the world," said she. "You know that nothing ever passes us on the road. As for the sweetest, did you ever taste any honey sweeter than ours? And I'm sure there's nothing richer than our chest of gold ducats that we've saved up over the years." The farmer was delighted. "You're right. Now we will be able to keep the calf." Meanwhile, when the shepherd got home, he was very downcast and sad. His daughter, a clever girl named Manka, asked what troubled him. The shepherd sighed. "I'm afraid I've lost the calf. The burgomaster gave us a riddle to solve, and I know I shall never guess it." "What is the riddle? Perhaps I can help you," said Manka. The shepherd told her the riddle, and the next day, as he was setting out for the burgomaster's, Manka told him the answers. When the shepherd reached the burgomaster's house, the farmer was already there. The burgomaster repeated the riddle and then asked the farmer for his answers. The farmer said with a pompous air, "The swiftest thing in the world? Why, that's my gray mare, of course, for no other horse ever passes us on the road. The sweetest? Honey from my beehives. The richest? What could be richer than my chest of gold pieces?" Said the burgomaster. "And what answers does the shepherd make?" "The swiftest thing in the world," said the shepherd, "is thought, for thought can run any distance in the twinkling of an eye. The sweetest thing of all is sleep, for when a person is tired and sad, what can be sweeter? The richest thing in the world is the earth, for out of the earth come all the riches of the world." "Good!" cried the burgomaster. "The calf goes to the shepherd." Later, the burgomaster said to the shepherd, "Tell me now, who gave you those answers? I'm sure you never thought of them yourself." The shepherd was unwilling to tell, but finally he confessed that the answers had come from his daughter, Manka. The burgomaster became very interested in the cleverness of Manka, and he sent his housekeeper for 10 eggs and gave them to the shepherd. "Take these to Manka and tell her to have them hatched by tomorrow and bring me the chicks," said he. The shepherd went home and gave Manka the eggs and the message. Manka laughed and said, "Take a handful of corn and bring it back to the burgomaster with this message. My daughter says if you plant this corn, grow it, and have it harvested by tomorrow, she will bring you the 10 chicks to feed on your ripe grain." When the burgomaster heard this answer, he laughed heartily. "That's a very clever daughter you have. I'd like to meet her. Tell her to come to see me, but she must come neither by day nor by night, neither riding nor walking, neither dressed nor undressed." Manka smiled when she received this message. The next dawn, when night was gone and day not yet arrived, she set out. She had wrapped herself in a fish net, and, throwing one leg over a goat's back, and keeping one foot on the ground, she went to the burgomaster's house. Now I ask you, did she go dressed? No, she wasn't dressed, for a fish net isn't clothing. Did she go undressed? Of course not, for wasn't she covered with a fish net? Did she walk to the burgomaster's? No, she didn't walk, for she went with one leg thrown over a goat. Well, then, did she ride? Of course she didn't ride, for wasn't she walking on one foot? When she reached the burgomaster's house, she called out, "Here I am, and I've come neither by day nor by night, neither riding nor walking, neither dressed nor undressed." The young burgomaster was so delighted with Manka's cleverness that he proposed to her, and in a short time they were married. "But understand, my dear Manka," he said, "you are not to use your cleverness at my expense. You must not interfere in any of my cases. If you give advice to those who come to me for judgment, I'll send you home to your father." "Very well," said Manka. "I agree to not give advice in your cases unless you ask for it." All went well for a time. Manka was busy with housekeeping and was careful not to interfere in any of the burgomaster's cases. Then one day, 2 farmers came to the burgomaster to have a dispute settled. One of the farmers owned a mare which had foaled in the marketplace. The colt had run under the wagon of the other farmer, and the owner of the wagon claimed the colt as his property. The burgomaster was thinking of something else while the case was being argued, and he said carelessly, "The man who found the colt under his wagon is the owner of the colt." The farmer who owned the mare met Manka as he was leaving the house and stopped to tell her about the case. Manka was ashamed that her husband had made so foolish a decision. She said to the farmer, "Come back this afternoon with a fishing net and stretch it across the dusty road. When the burgomaster sees you, he will come out and ask you what you're doing. Tell him you are catching fish. When he asks, 'How can you expect to catch fish in a dusty road?' tell him it's just as easy to catch fish in a dusty road as it is for a wagon to foal a colt. He'll see the injustice of his decision and have the colt returned to you. But remember one thing, you must not let him know I told you to do this." That afternoon, when the burgomaster looked out of his window, he saw a man stretching a fish net across the dusty road. He went out and asked, "What are you doing?" "Fishing." "Fishing in a dusty road? Are you crazy?" "Well," said the man, it's just as easy for me to catch fish in a dusty road as it is for a wagon to foal." Then the burgomaster realized he had made a careless and unjust decision. "Of course the colt belongs to your mare and must be returned to you," he said. "But tell me, who put you up to this? You didn't think of it yourself." The farmer tried not to tell, but the burgomaster persisted, and when he found out that Manka was at the bottom of it, he became very angry. He rushed into the house and called his wife. "Manka," he said, I told you what would happen if you interfered in any of my cases. I won't hear any excuses. Home you go this very day, and you may take with you the one thing you like best in the house." Manka did not argue. "Very well, my dear husband. I shall go home to my father's cottage and take with me the one thing I like best in the house. But I will not go until after supper. We have been very happy together, and I should like to eat one last meal with you. Let us have no more angry words, but be kind to each other as we've always been, and then part as friends." The burgomaster agreed to this, and Manka prepared a fine supper of all the dishes her husband particularly liked. The burgomaster opened the choicest wine and pledged Manka's health. Then he set to eat, and the supper was so good that he ate and ate and ate. And the more he ate, the more he drank, until at last he grew drowsy and fell sound asleep in his chair. Then, without awakening him, Manka had him carried out to the wagon that was waiting to take her home to her father. The next morning, when the burgomaster opened his eyes, he found himself lying in the shepherd's cottage. "What does this mean?" he roared. "Nothing, dear husband," said Manka. "You know you told me I might take with me the one thing I like best in your house, so of course I took you. That's all." The burgomaster stared at her in amazement. Then he laughed loud and heartily to think how Manka had outwitted him. "Manka," he said, "you're too clever for me. Come, my dear, let's go home." So they climbed back into the wagon and drove home. The burgomaster never again scolded his wife, but after that, when a very difficult case came up, he always said, "I think we had better consult my wife. You know, she's a very clever woman." The end.